Swayam Prabha. Digital India. Educated India.
Welcome back, friends. So, analogy and text completion. We have already been doing a lot of text completion, as you know, those fill in the blanks, single, double and triple also in certain cases. We are going to continue with that, as I have already told you that for the next couple of sessions we are going to do lots of vocabulary and text completion. Okay, this may go on this week and next week also. After that I will do a little bit of reading and listening again, and then plenty of grammar. So, you will be finding a revision of whatever we not a revision, but going back to some of the topics that we have already done, in the sense that, say, reading will be repeated, listening will be repeated, not exactly the same lectures, but sort of, the module is going to be, because this needs to be reinforced more thoroughly. Vocabulary, I think we are already doing very well, and I am going to give you a wide range of vocabulary in the subsequent lectures, and then we will be doing plenty of grammar also. So, that is the plan. Now, coming back to what we are going to do today, analogy and text completion. In today's class, I am going to give you introduction to analogy. Perhaps some of you are already familiar with that. So, today I will give analogy and then do some text completion exercises. I will do plenty of analogy with you in let us say after a couple of sessions, okay, after maybe 2 or 3 lectures, there will be more exercises based on analogies. You will also have testing for when you do your assignment. So, analogy type of tests for your assignments, they are very common in higher order competitive tests or exams. So, please do not get disturbed about these things. You have to go through all this kind of vocabulary. You will also be tested on analogy, text completion and vocabulary. It could be MCQ or even perhaps which is close ended, but you may not have all those kinds of choices. So, please be prepared for that. Okay. There are certain exams that test you for your vocabulary of that level also. So, learn for life. So, as I was telling you, analogies test your ability to recognize the relationship between pairs of words. So, what is analogy? It tests your ability to recognize the relationship between pairs of words. And then you will be given choices. If A is to B, then that means C is to this, and then you will be given a choices for this. So, this is what is tested for analogy kind of exams. You will get a pair of words in capital letters or maybe not in capital letters, but this is how generally it appears in capital letters, which is called the stem pair. So, this is your stem pair. This pair will have a particular relationship to one another, and the challenge lies in identifying the relationship. It could be synonyms, it could also be antonyms, it could be what they do to each other, how they are related to each other. Then you are given 4 to 5 additional pairs of words. You are expected to select that answer choice with a pair of words whose relationship is most similar to the relationship between the words in the stem pair. So, I want you to now look at the slide here. Analogy. Interesting is to fascinating. What uncommon is to, and now look at. So, If it were common, then it's every day. If it's common, it's boring. If it's common, I don't know how late would fit in there, but if it's uncommon, then it cannot be every day, it cannot be boring, it cannot be late, and we are left with one choice, that is rare. So, black rose is uncommon in most parts of the country. So, it is a rare thing. Now, interesting, it fascinates you. Uncommon is a rare thing. So, that is the way analogies work. You have to apply a little bit of thinking here. Look at the next example. Spend, save, give. So, when you spend a lot, what is the relationship with save? It means the opposite, the antonym of it. So, spend, save and give, and now you know that you are looking here, the examiner is looking out for your ability to give an antonym. So, give, opposite of give cannot be watch, it cannot be say, it cannot be ask, but it has to be you give something, you receive something, right. So, the best choice is receive. Ask also, you are giving something, you are asking for something, but between receive and ask, receive fits the requirement better. So, you have to look out for all these things. We cannot have some kind of argument here that ask also fits, so why not ask? Look at the best choice, the best fit, that is the way these exercises work. Otherwise, we can always have arguments which never end. Next example, bakery, bread, cafe. So, what does a bakery do? What is that? So, bakery manufactures or makes bread, and what does a cafe do? So, what does it make? So, coffee, water, cake and salad. Now, you will find water, cake and salad in most cafes nowadays, but what is the primary purpose of a cafe? That is to make coffee. So, that is how you get your answer. The best choice is answer A, coffee. Now, again look at the previous, or look at the stem word, stem pair, bakery and bread. You can get cakes and salads at bakeries also, but bread is something that a bakery, if a bakery has all these things, but not bread, then it is not worth its name. But if, and likewise, if cafe has water and salad and cake, but no coffee, then it is not a cafe. You have to look at the best choice. There is no point in arguing that all these other things are also available. So, why not make it very open ended? It does not work like that. Look at the next slide, please. So, crumb and bread. So, now I am giving you choices. Ounce unit, splinter wood, water bucket, cream butter. You make cream and butter out of each other, you fill water in a bucket. Crumb, what is crumb basically? You have to know the word crumb in order to understand the answer, the analogy. See, crumb is a piece, a small piece of bread, we say bread crumbs. Ounce is a unit, yes, but you do not say that it has fallen out of unit, but bread crumb will always fall out of bread. So, your best choice is splinter, large piece of wood, think a large piece of wood anywhere, and a small part comes out, that is splinter. You get a splinter in your skin, you are going to feel a lot of pain. So, splinter, we also say splintered groups, splintered opinions, it is not, this is the origin here, that it comes out of wood, it is a part of it, and splintered means broken, broken groups. Yeah, there are lots of, there is no unanimity here, splintered groups, yeah. So, that is how you use the word, that is the choice, splinter, best choice, B. Look at the next slide. Opera music, novel is to artistry, painting is to canvas, sonnet is to poetry, guitar is to violin. What is opera? Opera is a kind of music. Guitar and violin, look, let's go backwards. Guitar and violin, what are they? Both instruments. Sonnet to poetry. Sonnet is a kind of poetry, right? Sonnet is a 14-line poem. Painting is made on canvas, and novel requires artistry. But opera is a kind of music, sonnet is a kind of poetry. So, the best choice is C. So, this is the kind of relationship, analogy type of tests look for. Please pay attention to all this. Let us look at the next slide. Surgeon, scalpel. Now, painter, canvas, carpenter, saw, musician, orchestra, farmer, land. A surgeon uses a scalpel to cut out something. It could be a malignant tumor, it could be anything, it could be removing something. Now, painter uses a canvas to paint his work. Carpenter uses saw to cut out something. You know saw, a teeth, an instrument, a tool with teeth in it. So, that is what you are, you have to imagine. Musician conduct an orchestra, farmers work on land. Farmers work on land. Closest best choice here is surgeon is scalpel using an instrument, and carpenter saw, okay, using an instrument here. Okay, so, the way surgeon uses a scalpel, carpenter uses a saw, that is the analogy. We can't say the way surgeon uses scalpel is the same way musicians use an orchestra. Next choice, next set, wings and feather, turtle and shell, eagle talon, wall shingle, bird flight. Please look up your dictionaries if you do not know the meanings of any of these words. Always focus on lot of self learning, please. This course is meant to give you introduction to a lot of concepts. We will also tell you how to go about doing things, but we cannot do everything for you. So, please do some self learning yourself, it will go a long way. So, birds take a flight. Now, when you have walls, a piece is called shingle. Eagle, an eagle is a bird and it has talon, long, let us say nail like things coming out of its body, and turtle withdraws itself into a shell. Now, we are looking at something big and a smaller part of it. So, wing and feather, feather is part of wings, shingle is part of wall. So, that is the answer C. Next exercise, protect an helmet. You wear a helmet to protect your head. Adorn headdress, fit wig, a wig has to fit, right? You wear a gown, you use detergent to clean. So, what is that? Now, look at the words here. Now, sometimes it is important to look at the category of the words. Protect is a verb, detergent is a noun, it cannot go, they cannot go together, there is no analogy here. Okay. Wig has to fit, right? Wig has to fit and gown has to be worn, but the best choice is the way helmet protects, the same way headdress adorns. Okay. So, that is the best choice here. Answer is A. Next set, florist bouquet, it is not pronounced as bouquet, it is a French word bouquet. Florist, who is a florist? You may go sometimes to a person who sells flowers and they give you bouquets, and bouquets are given on special occasions. Painters uses a brush, milliners makes hats. Gardener, rose, author, page. Author doesn't make a page. Gardeners cultivate rose, yes, but florist makes bouquet and milliner makes hats. So, this is the best choice, B. Gardener grows or cultivates, but florist makes a bouquet, milliner makes hats. Milliner is a kind of profession, florist is also a kind of a profession. Author is a profession, but page is not what he makes. Let us go on to the next slide. Look at the exercise. General Admiral. You need to know the categories well here. Teacher, blackboard. Commander, follower. Programmer, computer. Soldier, sailor. Teacher uses blackboard. A commander may have followers. Programmer uses computer. A general is chief of army that fights on land. An admiral is someone, a person in high position in the navy who fights on or who rules the seas, the waters. So, the best fit here is option D. General is a high position, soldier, and admiral is a high position, but sailor goes to the sea. Admiral is at the sea and sailors also go to the sea. So, it is the difference of positions, ranks. Next slide. Deluge is trickle. So, what is the meaning of deluge? Overflowing, and trickle is just coming, okay, but it is not overflowing definitely, it is a very little amount. So, flood and drought, downfall and drizzle, and tornado and cyclone. Now, tornado and cyclone both can cause a lot of destruction. Flood and drought, not really, but look at downfall and drizzle, and this is the, so flood and drought could be opposite, but here it is not the opposite, it is the difference in quantity. Deluge is lot of water, trickle is little amount of water, downfall is lot of water, rainfall, drizzle is little rainfall comparatively. So, the difference, the analogy here is testing your ability to comprehend measurement, the quantities. So, that is the answer. So, we will be doing a lot of analogies in our subsequent lectures. I will take you back to your text completion, that is where, that is the point where we stopped last time, and I promised you that we will be doing more such exercises. So, please look at that exercise here. But we must not let the recollections of this good fellow cause us to diverge, divulge, dirge, divert, direct from the principal history. Answer is diverge. Diverge means extend to a different direction. Divulge means make known to the public information that was previously known only to a few people or that was meant to be kept a secret. To divert is to turn aside or turn away from. It could also mean to occupy in an agreeable, entertaining or pleasant fashion. We know what direct means, command with authority. So, direct does not fit, be directed would have been another choice, but the best answer here is diverge. A. The word you should know that can be easily eliminated is dirge. What is dirge? It is actually a song or a hymn of mourning. It is a literary term basically, D-I-R-G-E. It is actually a song that is used for mourning, composed or performed as a memorial to a dead person. So, we can eliminate divulge also, divulging lot of details. Okay. Passage is about recollections, not secret. So, you divulge a secret, you are not revealing secret. So, different meanings of divert, the best choice is diverge among the two. Look at the next slide. Straight ahead, a gorilla turned his resplendent, repentant, redolent, replete, rancorous back, hair bristling to avoid my gaze. Look at the slide carefully. The best choice is resplendent. It means it has great beauty and splendor. It's splendid. See, if you are repentant, you are feeling or expressing remorse for misdeeds. Redolent means serving to bring to your mind, something to bring to mind. You can't have a bag bringing something to mind. To replete is to be filled to satisfaction with something. You replete your plate, okay? So, fill something with it. And to be rancorous is to show deep seated resentment. Gorilla's back cannot be repentant, replete or rancorous. The passage is very short and we know that there is no clue that points towards redolent, which means something bringing to mind. Hence, we can consider resplendent as the best answer. Resplendent means something which is very striking. Let us look at the next set. We can and do think without language, but the normal run of our consciousness is anatomic, autonomic, languid, linguistic, kinetic, and we almost automatically translate passion into words. So, normal run of our consciousness is, look at the previous part of the sentence, it is language. So, the best choice is of course de-linguistic. Remember, anatomic means of or relating to the structure of the body, while autonomic means relating to or controlled by the autonomic nervous system. If someone is languid, she is lacking spirit or liveliness. Linguistic means consisting of or related to language, and kinetic means characterized by motion. To pick the best choice here is easy. I think all of us will understand or accept that, because the presence of the word without and language and all that. So, of course, it is linguistic. Now, let us move on to the next set. Even those who do not use the popularized drugs of a given era are to their cultural are perfidious, poser, beholden, begotten, petulant to their cultural effects. So, even those who do not use the popularized drugs of a given era. So, cultural effects of drugs on those who actually do not use drugs. So, what is the best answer here? The best option is C, beholden. Perfidious means betray, beholden means under a moral obligation to someone, we are beholden to them. Begotten, as you might have guessed, means generated, ill begotten wealth, wealth that is acquired by wrong means. A petulant child is easily irritated or annoyed child. So, petulance, naturally we cannot have petulant effects of drugs. Poser has got nothing to do with any of this. Poser is a person who habitually pretends to be something she is not or he is not, and presence of even makes sure that the words we are looking for is not perfidious and petulant. Begotten and poser definitely do not fit. Best answer is beholden. Beholden, as we already know, under a moral obligation. Now, let us move on to the next slide. Clean water and food made large densities habitable and enabled unprompted, unprecedented, preoccupied, unpracticed, unpressed levels of innovation and creativity. Now, clear water and food made large densities habitable, okay, and enabled unprompted level of motivation and creativity. It cannot be. Preoccupied, someone who is already thinking of something. Unpracticed, something that has not been practiced, doesn't really fit. And unpressed is a very odd word. Best choice is unprecedented, something that has not happened before. So, answer is B. Remember, unprompted means proceeding from natural feeling or impulse without external stimulus. It is impulsive. Something is unprecedented when it has no precedent, it is novel, and someone is preoccupied if she has or shows extensive or compulsive concern with something. Unpracticed is something which does not have extensive practice. Unpressed does not mean repressed or something, it is plain unironed or wrinkled. So, okay, it is not repressed. Your shirt is unpressed today after a long journey or because you have been running around doing a lot of things. Unprecedented, that has not happened before. So, best choice. Remember, we can strike off some choices immediately. Right away you can take off or tick off unpressed. Now, clean water and provisions may have acted as a stimulus. Unprompted is not the word we are looking. So, preoccupied levels of innovation. No, it does not really fit. Unprecedented. Until then the cities were not habitable. That is the clue you get. So, unprecedented. Let us look at the next set. As the evening approached, the channel grew more narrow and the banks more and more perspicuous, preposterous, precipitates, precipitous, precipice. The banks became more and more. Now, here we are talking about not the banks from where you get your money, but the river bank. The banks becoming more and more what? What is perspicuous? What is preposterous? Do you think all these words fit in? The best answer is precipitous. Precipitous means extremely steep or done with very great haste without due deliberation. Precipices is a noun that means a very steep cliff. Confusion should be between precipitous and precipices, but then we are talking about banks and all, and we are not talking about cliffs. So, extremely steep, precipitous. You should also remember there is a kind of a precipitous rainfall in geography. So, geography is also a very popular subject or area or domain from where test makers often construct all these exercises for you. Remember, perspicuous means transparently clear or easily understandable, but it is not here, it is not, it does not fit in here, it does not fit in with river banks and channels. Something is preposterous if it is incongruous or if it invites ridicule. It does not fit in. Best choice, answer D. Remember, the banks cannot be perspicuous or preposterous. You have to look at an adjective. So, we are left with precipitous. Let us look at the next set. A viable hypothesis of obesity has to explain why the fat tissue of the obese is so maladroit, avid, anachronistic, synchronized, ascetic in hoarding calories as fat rather than allowing that fat to be metabolized. The best choice is avid. Adroit means quick, avid means ardently. It also means excessively wanting something. So, fat tissues excessively wanting to accumulate fat, that is the idea. So, avid. Adroit, as we have already seen, is something which is skillful, adept in action or thought. Maladroit is the antonym. So, you cannot have maladroit. Anachronistic is something which is chronologically misplaced, and synchronized things operate in unison. We often use it, synchronized events happening in unison, in parallel to extend to each other. Ascetic can also be, ascetic is an adjective that means practicing the self-denial, or the noun, as a noun, ascetic is the person who practices self-denial. Fat tissues cannot be synchronized or ascetic. Now, adroit or maladroit, because we are given maladroit, fat tissues cannot be unskillful. A lazy fat tissue will not be hoarding, remember. So, it does not matter whether fat tissue is synchronized, best answer is avid, it is hoarding. So, that is the answer. Now, look at this slide. This next exercise. When reason returned with the morning, I experienced a sentiment half of horror, half of remorse for the crime of which I had been guilty, but it was at best a feeble and repined, restive, remiss, unequivocal, equivocal feeling, and the soul remained untouched. All these are not very common words. Please look up your dictionaries to understand the meanings of these words. Feeble and what feeling? So, you have to use an adjective to describe a feeling, and it has to be a very disturbing feeling. So, it is equivocal, E. Equivocal means of uncertain nature, unequivocal means unambiguous. I think we have done this in one of our previous classes. So, remember, equivocal means of uncertain nature or significant, and unequivocal is its antonym, right. This applying prefix, that is un, cannot mean that we might guess it what it means. Remember, repine or remiss are not actually redoing of pine or miss. Repine means to express discontent. To be remiss is to be failing in what duty requires. Restive means being in a tense state. The author says that he feels remorse, but it was a feeble feeling. The clue remains in the last part of the passage, which makes it very clear that that it's not touched. So, what he is trying to feel is not solid enough, not clear enough. So, therefore, equivocal. I have equivocal feelings about this. Not clear, not very certain, not very sure. Let us move on to the next slide. Today's drug makers have helped to create a culture in which people are perceived, preserved, precluded, precised, perused to be more depressed so as to sell drugs that might answer the problems they have manufactured. The best choice is perceived. The meaning of the word perceived, okay? What is it? The way you look at things, perception. To preclude means to make impossible, especially beforehand. And remember, preserves is that you are saving something to keep intact in a particular condition. Precise is to be very accurate, it does not fit here. And if you are perusing something, it means you are examining or considering with attention and in detail. Preserved naturally cannot be a very good option. We are not talking about preserving people, and precise and perused are not very good options either. Precluding them will not help in selling more drugs, and perceived therefore is the best answer, which means detected by instinct or inference rather than by some kind of cues. So, therefore, perceived is the best answer. Let us look at the next slide. Man is a creature, creatures are thought of God. It is the nature of thought to be discrepant, austere, irrevocable, ironic, impecunious. The best choice is irrevocable. Discrepant means not compatible with other facts. There is a discrepancy. Someone's clothing is austere, that means simple, severe. Something is irrevocable if it is incapable of being retracted or revoked. Ironic means conducive to peace, and you are impecunious if you do not have enough money to pay for necessities. Best choice is irrevocable. You have to understand that this is a, it sounds like man, and it has reference to thoughts and all. It is of universal nature that can apply to anywhere, anyone. It can apply to anyone, anywhere in the world. Thought cannot be impecunious. Okay? They are complicated, they cannot be impecunious or austere. So, the best answer is irrevocable. Next exercise. According to so and so, the charge of being heretical, culpable, ambiguous, picayune, Pollyannish and indefinite. So, that means the choice is you have to the choice should go with indefinite, may be brought against every human composition and necessarily arises from the imperfection of language. The best answer is C, ambiguous. Something is heretical if it is characterized by departure from accepted beliefs or standards. Someone is culpable if she deserves blame or censure as being wrong or evil or injurious. An ambiguous sentence is indefinite, unclear. So, it has to, the choice has to go with the ensuing word indefinite. Picayune means something is small and of little importance, and someone is something or someone is Pollyannish if she is pleasantly optimistic. We could argue that all writings cannot be picayune or heretical or culpable or Pollyannish, but that leaves us nowhere. Okay? The best choice has to be ambiguous. Next exercise. It is the calling of great men not so much to preach new truths as to rescue from those old truths which it is our wisdom to remember and our weakness to forget. So, as to rescue from jaundice, apostasy, oblivion, maleficence, venality. Choice is between new truths as to, so you have to not to preach new truths. So, there has to be an antonym of new, and then you look at the rest of the choices. The best choice is oblivion. If someone is jaundice, that means they have a blurred vision. See, jaundice is not always about the disease. Jaundice opinion means partial or biased opinion. So, that does not fit. Apostasy is the act of abandoning a party for cause. Oblivion is the state of being disregarded or forgotten. So, new truths, forgotten truths. So, that is the answer. Maleficence means wrongful conduct by a public official, and venality can be defined as squandering away your talents or office or services for a reward, selling your services or talents. Venality means someone who is corrupt. We have seen that before. So, you have to look at the clue or the cues, remember and forget. These are the words in the passage that are going to help us find the best choice. Without those words, choosing a single answer would be very difficult. Next set. There exists a hypothesis that high blood glucose and cardinal elevated levels of insulin, syncretic, parsimonious, overweening, concomitant. So, concomitant, overweening, elevated levels of insulin and the insulin resistance itself makes us fat. The best answer is E, concomitant. Cardinal could mean several things, but none of the meanings as a noun sounds sensible here. It cannot be related to red or mathematics or Roman Catholic Church. Those are the cardinal meanings of the word cardinal. So, we can consider its meanings as an adjective and define it as serving as an essential component. Syncretism can be defined as the union or attempted fusion of different systems of thought. Someone is parsimonious if they are unwilling to spend. Over meanings means unrestrained, especially with regards to feelings. Concomitant means following or accompanying as a consequence. Elevated levels of insulin cannot be essential or syncretic. Remember, if it is elevated, it could not be parsimonious. Between overweening and concomitant, the latter sounds the better option, and therefore, this is the best choice. Let us look at the next slide. By the 1970s, a nutrition community became fixated on dietary fat as a trigger of errant, prosaic, erratic, chronic, parochial diseases. The best choice is D, chronic diseases. Errant cannot be defined without a something. So, you have to have something that qualifies errant. It does not happen here. If a piece of writing is prosaic, we have already done this word before, it is not poetic, it is lacking in wit or imagination. Erratic means liable to sudden unpredictable change. Weather is erratic, mood can be erratic. Chronic means being long lasting and recurrent or characterized by long suffering. Chronic diseases take a toll on caregiver also. Parochial means relating to the local character. Okay. So, sometimes people get very parochial, they are too devoted to their own state or language or region. So, you are being parochial, you are not being cosmopolitan, narrowly restricted. Best answer is chronic. Diseases cannot be parochial or prosaic. Between erratic and chronic diseases, chronic sounds like a better option for the answer, and we are not looking for all the correct choices, but we are looking at the best choice. So, chronic fits in. Look at the next slide here. Innovation happens when large number of people gather in close and expose each other to their ideas and inspirations. So, close, propensity, proximity, locality, disparity. Please look up the meanings of each and every word here. Try to fit in. Disparity means differences. Locality means, what does locality means? In the same local area. Loquacity means talkative people, and proximity in close association with people. So, close proximity, and propensity is a tendency. Best choice is D, proximity. Disparity is inequality, locality is surrounding or nearby region. Proximity might sound similar to locality, but is actually quite different. It means the idea or property of being close together. Loquacity means quality of being verbose, wordy, talkative, and disparity should be excluded, loquacity should be excluded, locality, best choice is proximity. Even people living in the same locality may not share ideas, but people who live in proximity do share their ideas, that is the answer. So, thank you very much. We will continue with text completion in our next class also.